Hey guys, so today I'm going to do my 2010 favorites. I know I'm a little bit late on this, but unfortunately I can only record now on the weekend since I've been really busy. I'm on campus for like 10 hours every single week now. So yeah, so I'm just going to go through my favorites of 2010, skincare, makeup, everything. So the first thing I talk about, I've already talked about before. Everything that I talked about, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about. So my Beauty Diary face masks, you put them on a clean face, you wear them for about 15-25 minutes. You can either rub it in, wash your face after you put it on, but they just totally make your skin so much more plump and so much more vibrant looking. I love to use these after I have a really long day or, before a big night out, just because they're a really good pick-me-up for your skin. And so my favorite one I've tried so far is definitely the Black Pearl Mask, and they come in a pack of 10 per box. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Pond's Flawless White. I've also talked about this one, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but you guys know I really like this as well. It definitely helps, make your skin look a whole lot more brighter, even out the skin tone, things like that. So I really like this, and I really like how it smells as well. The cream isn't very moisturizing, but since it does the whole, brightening aspect very well, I feel like it's still a worthy investment. Okay, so my next skincare product I'm going to talk about is the Queen Helene Mint Julep Mask. Now I'm definitely a little bit late on this one. I know everyone uses this except me, but I don't know why I just recently got it because I had a little bit of store credit. I got this from a beauty supply store, but you can actually get this at really any drugstore, like CVS, Walmart, any of those places carry this as well. And it's really inexpensive. It's about $3 or $4 per tube. I do prefer the tubed version. They also sell it in a tub, but I don't prefer that quite as much because even though it's easy to get out, when you have nails, it kind of gets stuck underneath your nails and it's not very sanitary. It's kind of nasty. So even though it's a little bit hard to squeeze out, I do really like this. It's definitely one of those products though where less is more. Some products you just goop it on. This is not one of those products. You don't want to goop this on. You just want to put on a really thin light layer on a nice clean face, and it totally soaks up all the oil from your pores. It helps lighten up like the blackheads and stuff. It soaks up all your blackheads, and so I really like that. It also really helps for oil control. I only use this about twice a week though because even I find it to be slightly drying. So if you have dry skin, I probably wouldn't recommend this, but I really like this one so far. For some people, this is like their holy grail OG acne product. They use it as like an overnight treatment. They use it all over their face and they say that it dries up all their acne the next day. I don't really find that it does that for me, but I do know a lot of people say that this really works well for them in that aspect. So I check it out if you guys are interested. But the first time you use it, it burns really bad, so don't be surprised. But then after that, it doesn't really burn anymore. So the next products I'm going to talk about are hair care products. You guys know I'm very particular about my hair care. So the first thing I'm talk about is my new Heat Protectant Backslash Glossing Cream. So you guys know that I used my Mszjackiechu High Glossing Cream for a very long time, and I also started using the Chi Iron Guard, which is like their heat protectant spray. But I wasn't so crazy about this because it smells really bad. It smells like a man. And then on top of that, it makes your hair crunchy if you put on too much. It makes it a little bit stiff, and it feels like there's product in it. So I wasn't really crazy about that. And then I stopped using my Mszjackiechu High Glossing Cream because I've been using it for so long that it didn't really seem to be working as well for me anymore. And so recently during the summer, Folica actually contacted me and they asked me if I could try out their brand new Sedu product because Sedu teamed up with Folica and they made a new heat protectant backlash glossing serum, and I really only said yes because I did feel like I kind of owed it to them, and all they wanted was like a written review, and so they just sent me this little sample, and surprisingly enough this little sample lasted like 15 days almost. And recently, about a month and a half ago or so, I actually got in contact with some people at Folica and we were just talking about this product and we were talking about that it was so good. It's definitely very moisturizing. I only use one pump, and then on my towel dried hair I just put it through all the ends of my hair, and it works really well as a heat protectant too. I've only had maybe like 2 or 3 split ends in the past 3 months, so I was really impressed with that. So it worked really well for me for a heat protectant. So I don't know. I also like how it's not like sticky and crunchy like how a lot of other heat protectants are. So I'm not like, loading up my hair with products, since my hair is kind of long. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my hair is kind of long, so I try not to use moisturizing products that are also too heavy because then it, kind of kills all your hair volume. And so I really like this. I didn't think that I would like this as much as I did. I was kind of hesitant to get this at first because I know it's very expensive, but Folica actually does have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you guys are interested in trying it out, you guys can. But it's really good. I was surprised because I wasn't really expecting much out of it because it's made by a company that traditionally makes hot tools and not by a company that makes, hair care products, but it's actually very good. So next I've been using this Hask Placenta Honey Placenta with Olive Oil Hair Mask. What I've been doing is about once every 2 weeks I clarify my hair, and then I use this as a deep conditioner. And so just on towel dried hair, I warm up the product in like some warm, lukewarm hot water, and then I just put it all through the ends of my hair, put a bag over my head, and sit there with like a blow dryer and heats it up, and then I just rinse it out. So I just use it as a deep conditioner, and that's it. And it makes your hair look so silky and soft. In between these two products, I feel like my hair looks so much better again. I don't know. I've been really loving these two products. But this is a really cheap, inexpensive, great hair mask. Like I said, it's only $2.59. You can get it from Sally's Beauty Supply, and Sally's would probably be the cheapest way to get it, because if you buy it online, then you'd have to pay shipping, so I think that'd be kind of expensive. But it comes in like these nice little one-time use packets. I know a lot of people, when I first talked about this, were like, "Ooh, placenta," but it just looks like a deep hair conditioner mask. It smells a lot like the deep hair conditioners that my mom uses after she dyes her hair. You know, that kind of smell. I like it. I don't know, it's kind of mellow and sweet at the same time, so I really like the smell of this. So lately what I've been using also for my lips is Vaseline, just good old petroleum jelly. I've been putting it on my lips at night before I go to bed, then also in the morning, and I find that I don't really need to apply chapstick throughout the day, and I really like that. I don't need to carry it around because I tend to lose my chapsticks a lot, and I also think my favorite chapstick has been discontinued, the Shiseido Water and Lip. And so, you know, so I really like this. It really does a really good job of keeping your lips moisturized because you don't need to keep reapplying. And it's really nice too because, you know, I tend to get kind of sick during the winter time. You know, you tend to like mouth breathe all nasty and stuff, and this definitely really helps with that. So next I'm going to talk about our nail files. I've been obsessed with crystal glass nail files, you know, whichever. If you type in either, you'll find the same thing. So this is what they look like. They come in like their own little sleeves. So I got this one on eBay, and it was $2 including shipping, and so that's, you know, $2 flat. It was just so cheap. This is what it looks like. It has like the frosted part is like the part where the file is, and it has two different kinds of grains of grit. So one side's really fine, the other one's a little bit more coarse. So I really love these. I first heard about these through Mszjackiechu, and I've been doing my own nails lately. I've been actually doing my own nails for the past half year. But she was just like, "Oh, you guys should try out crystal files. They're so much better for your nail." And I definitely find that they are much better for your nail, especially because normal nail files are very abrasive. They tend to like rip your nail and cause little tears in the nail. And this does such a better job of sealing the edge of your nail. So I find that, you know, my nails break a lot less easily, and they just look so much better. The only bad thing about them is that since they're not as abrasive, it kind of takes longer to file nails. You have to be a little bit more patient. But these last forever. You don't really need to buy another one once you have one. And so I really like them. And this one I actually got from a beauty supply store. This one has like a little strawberry on it. And this one was $7, but it is much cheaper to get them on eBay because this one was only $2, and it even has like little crystals on it. So yeah, so I really suggest getting yourself a crystal glass nail file. Next thing I'm going to talk about are my favorite eyelashes for this year, and that's definitely going to be the Sonia Kashuk Full Glam Lashes. Now, you know, you've heard about every YouTuber using this, you know, Michelle Fan, Holly Anna Ree, everyone's been using this. I know Samage uses these as well because these are really great lashes. They do come with some bad faults though, you know, they are kind of expensive. They're $4.99 a pair, and so that is a little bit expensive, you know, but they're very reusable because they're very stiff. But because they're very stiff, they are kind of tricky to apply, and sometimes they tend to pop off, and the first time you wear them can sometimes be moderately painful. But they look really good. Like, I'm wearing them right now. I don't know if you guys can see. So I'm wearing them right now, and I really love these, especially for photography, just because they photograph so well. They look super crazy in the case, but I promise you they're not very crazy when you put them on. So this is Target's brand, you know, Sonia Kashuk. So for those guys that don't live near a Target, I'm sorry. Target.com does sell them, but I don't know if they do international shipping or anything. Another thing that's really obnoxious about these though is they're almost always sold out. I think it's because so many YouTubers make videos on them, you know, and in their little stack they can only, you know, stock maybe 8 or so pairs. So usually when I go, I don't see them in stock, but whenever I do see them in stock, I buy them. But usually they're not in stock, or there's only like one in stock, which is really obnoxious. But yeah, you can buy them online, like I said, on the Target website, but you would have to pay for shipping or buy $50 worth for shipping, and I hate paying for shipping. So next product I'm going to talk about is actually an eyeliner. I first heard about this through Holly. I don't know how we were talking about it, but she's just like, "Oh, this is my favorite eyeliner pencil ever, you should try it, it's really good." And I was like, you know. But then I ended up buying it, and you know, she was totally right. This is the best eyeliner pencil I've ever tried. It's better than MAC, Makeup Forever, Urban Decay, all those. It totally blows those out of the water. Now, no pencil liner is ever going to have quite the staying power of a liquid liner, but this has the best staying power of any pencil I've ever tried. It's very soft, so it's very easy to apply, and it's very smudgeable as well. It's so soft it's almost like a coal, but then once it dries, and you know, it sticks very well. I love to use this for my waterline. It's also very pigmented, even though it says it's a metallic eyeliner pencil. You know, Milani Liquify metallic eyeliner pencil. The other colors are metallic, like they have a teal and they have a gold, but I don't find this one to be metallic. It's very inexpensive. It's about, you know, $5 from Target, CVS, wherever you can find Milani Cosmetics. And it sucks because they're usually sold out, but this is such a great eyeliner pencil. But because it is so soft, it can get kind of messy if you mess up, you know. it takes a while to dry, and you kind of run through it kind of fast because it's so soft. You have to keep sharpening it over and over again. But because it's so pigmented and because the staying power is so good, you know, I really like to use this pencil. I think this is like the best eyeliner pencil I've ever tried. So the last 3 products I'm going to talk about are actually cheek products. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Cantaloupe. This is a satin blush by MAC. And this is so pretty. It doesn't really look like this, like how it's looking in the pan right now. I don't know if you can tell, my lighting is really crazy right now because it's actually rainy. But it's the prettiest peachy color. I don't know. It's so universally flattering. You know, people who have darker skin tones, lighter skin tones, I think would all really enjoy this. It's such a beautiful blush. The only bad thing about this blush though is that it is a pro color, so you'd either have to go to a pro store or you'd have to call them on their hotline. I'll leave all those numbers and stuff down there as well. So my favorite pinky blush I've tried this year is definitely Tease by Rock & Republic, and that's the swatch. Now when people were first like, oh, this is my favorite Rock & Republic blush, I couldn't really understand why, because if you look at it in the pan and swatched, it looks very mauve-y, but on your face it's so beautiful. It's like the prettiest flush of pink, and you know, definitely makes you look more awake. It's very natural, and the staying power is so good with these blushes. Now I got mine from Outlook for about $16. Now the obnoxious thing about Rock & Republic Cosmetics is that since they're discontinuing them, you know, they kind of randomly pop up on sites, but then they're instantly sold out. So, you know, you see it on Outlook, but then they don't stock all the colors, and the same thing with the regular website. So they're kind of tricky to get your hands on. So if you can get your hands on one, I would highly suggest it because they're beautiful blushes. The staying power is great, but Tease is definitely my favorite. I got this along with Foreplay, and I thought I would like Foreplay more, but I actually like this one more. So my last product I'm going to show you guys is actually a cream blush. It's the Can Make Cream Cheek, and this is in 05. I have another Can Make Cream blush that I'm not as crazy about because it's like a milky baby pink, and it kind of comes up white on my face. It just doesn't look very good. But this one is so nice. It's so great as a base underneath pink blushes, coral blushes, and it looks really great by itself as well, which I've worn in all different ways. I've also used this on my friend who's much darker than me. She's probably like an NC40, and it looks really good on her as well. So this is what it looks like. It's super pretty. It looks kind of crazy like that, huh? Look at it. It's so pretty. It's gorgeous. I wish, you know, the lighting was a little bit better so things were a little bit more true to life, but unfortunately, like I said, it's raining, so I don't really know what to do with that. But anyways, that's pretty much it for my favorites of 2010, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye!